Part 14. Fantasy, I Robbed Millions of Saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 134. Qin Changsheng was not surprised when he heard what Lisa Du said. He had long known that Xiantian sect contained many former sect masters from the gilded domain, so it was normal that this old man was the former sect master of the bloodthirsty demon sect. But the old man was stunned when he heard what Lisa Du said. You know the bloodthirsty demon sect. Little girl, who are you? The old man asked. If my guess is correct, you should be the previous head of the bloodthirsty demon sect. I am the saint of the bloodthirsty demon sect, Teresa. After Lisa Du finished speaking, the old man became even more confused. The saint of the bloodthirsty demon sect? How old are you? How did you come to the eastern wilderness continent? In addition, as a saint of the bloodthirsty demon sect, why would you hang out with this man? It really makes no sense. As the previous sect master, I declare that I will cancel your status as a saint. The old man was already shocked by Qin Changsheng. When he heard what Lisa Du said, he became even more angry and shouted angrily. Tisk, cancel my status as a saint? This girl has stopped doing it a long time ago. Now this girl belongs to the young master, just a little maid. Teresa sneered. You deceive the teacher and destroy the ancestors. The old man was directly angered by Lisa and vomited another mouthful of blood. To deceive the master and destroy the ancestor? Then I really don't have it. Because the bloodthirsty demon sect has been destroyed by our young master, there is no such thing as deceiving the master and destroying the ancestor. Besides, the saints you so-called cultivate are just cauldrons prepared for the saints. What would happen if I really deceived my master and destroyed my ancestors? Rather than being manipulated by you to be a little useless cauldron, I would rather be my young master's cauldron. Dulisa still said with a smile. But after the old man heard this, his whole body felt like he was struck by lightning. The bloodthirsty demon sect was destroyed by him. No. Impossible. How so? The old man's first reaction was that he didn't believe it. But when he thought about the combat power Qin Changsheng had just displayed, he suddenly realized that what Lisa Du said might be true. In an instant, he felt his head was buzzing, and he didn't know what to do. Who dares to make trouble in our Xiantian sect? Another voice sounded. Then a figure flew out from the Xiantian gate with its feet on the blue clouds. Seeing the movement technique this person performed, Qin Changsheng and Gu Qingxiu looked at each other and smiled. Are you the former sect master of Qingyun Holy Land? Qin Changsheng asked. Because the movement and combat skills this man just performed are unique to Qingyun Holy Land. Who are you? You actually know about my Qingyun Holy Land. This person who just came was also confused by Qin Changsheng's words. Qingyun Holy Land. I know too well. Qin Changsheng smiled slightly and was non-committal. This feeling is quite interesting. When I came to the eastern wilderness continent, I unexpectedly met such a bunch of acquaintances. Brother Zija, this guy seems to have come from the gilded realm. He just said, my bloodthirsty demon sect was destroyed by him. The former sect leader of the bloodthirsty demon sect said to the visitor. Don't listen to his nonsense. There has been no sect annihilation in the gilded domain for many years. The former sect master of Qingyun Holy Land was full of disbelief. Qin Changsheng had no interest in explaining the suspicions of the people. But concubine Murong could not sit still. She would not allow others to question her son. Is our young master talking nonsense? In this case, I congratulate you, your Qingyun Holy Land has also been destroyed. And your saint is right here. But that's right, you left early and you probably haven't met Sister Qingxiu yet, haha, but the Qingyun token of your Qingyun Holy Land seems to be in my hand. Can you see if it's this one? Murong concubine said with a smile, and took out a golden Qingyun token in her hand. The moment she saw this token, the eyes of the former sect master of Qingyun Holy Land suddenly became as big as an ox. Qingyun order. How is it possible? Who are you? The former holy master Qingyun shouted angrily, and his whole person had turned into an afterimage, and he quickly attacked, trying to snatch the Qingyun order away from concubine Murong. However, boom! A spiritual energy palm print was taken. His whole body was shot out of the air and then hit the ground hard. A deep human-shaped hole was carved out of the hard bluestone ground, which shows the power of the palm just now. Everyone around was dumbfounded again. Elder Zija is a monk at the 4th level of Qi realm. He was actually knocked away by this guy with just one spiritual energy palm print? Poof, poof. How can you be so strong? In the human-shaped pit, the Holy Lord Qingyun named Zija climbed up with great effort, and then vomited blood with a look of disbelief on his face. The young man in front of him should be in the Qi realm, he knew it, otherwise he would. It is impossible to come here by sitting in the teleportation array. But, the cultivation level is above him, and it is so much higher than him, which he can't accept. Generally speaking, what comes out of the gilded realm is just Qi. He has been practicing in the Eastern Barren continent for more than 30 years and is already at the 4th level of the Qi realm. This guy can slap himself to the ground with a slap, leaving him completely untouched. Without the power to resist, he must be several levels higher than himself. The Gilded Realm. How could such a powerful person appear in the Gilded Realm? Stop talking nonsense and take me to the head of your Xiantian section. I have something to talk to him about. Qin Changsheng is not interested in answering their doubts. Now he is only thinking about how to turn Xiaomi Lier into a saint girl of Suanei Shanmen. Do you dare to meet our leader? Okay, come if you dare. Qingyun's former holy master said, turned around and walked into Suanei Shanmen, leaving a door for Qin Changsheng. Walk. Qin Changsheng greeted the girls and strode towards the Xiantian gate. The group of Suanei Shanmen disciples behind him were dumbfounded again. This guy actually just walked in so arrogantly. Then, a group of people also followed in, cheering. They wanted to see what this monster that suddenly appeared was going to do. The 5th update, please customize and complete the order, please give me all the motivation and support. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 135. This is Suanei Shanmen. After Qin Changsheng and others entered Suanei Shanmen, they were all stunned. It's not because there is a cave inside. It's just because the inside of Suanei Shanmen is much smaller than they imagined, even incomparable to Qingyun Holy Land. Up. There are 108 peaks in Qingyun Holy Land. The interior of Suanei Shanmen looks like 7 or 8 peaks, densely covered with palace attics, caves, etc., and it looks very crowded. Qin when Changsheng and others came in, the previous holy master of Qingyun Holy Land had already sent out a signal, and the entire Xiantian gate instantly became lively. On top of the 7 or 8 peaks, beams of true energy light were activated, and figures rose into the sky one by one. There are many areas that can be directly expanded. This aspect cannot be compared with Qingyun Holy Land. Although the place is small, there are dozens of Qi realm monks here. What happened, Elder Zija? A majestic voice came. Qin Changsheng and others followed the sound and saw a middle-aged man wearing a brocade robe and an angry sword eyebrow, standing in the air on the highest mountain. Sect Master, this guy seems to be from the Gilded Realm, but something is weird. The former Holy Master of Qingyun Holy Land told everything about what had just happened, as well as Qin Changsheng's cultivation. When everyone around heard the words, they were in an uproar. Then one after another, they all looked like sharp swords. Xiang Qin Changsheng. Boy, did you really destroy my bloodthirsty demon sect? An old man with gray hair but rosy complexion asked, his voice extremely cold. And who are you? Qin. Chang Sheng asked back. I am the 782nd generation leader of the bloodthirsty demon section. Please tell me if this is true. The man said, and a burst of pressure came towards Qin Changsheng. However, his pressure had no effect on Qin Changsheng at all. Young master, the bloodthirsty sect leader you killed was the 784th generation, and the old man just now was the 783rd generation. This should be the bloodthirsty sect leader who took office. Dulisha was beside her and explained to Qin Changsheng. Qin Changsheng nodded. It turns out that the two old masters of the bloodthirsty demon sect are both here. Of course it is true, not only your bloodthirsty demon sect, but also all the sects in the gilded domain have been looted by me. By the way, let me introduce you, these are the saints of your section. Qin Changsheng deliberately mentioned the word saint. Hopefully these people will come to their senses later. It's a pity that the various atmospheric sea realms on the surrounding mountain peaks exploded when they heard the previous sentence. Impossible. Boy, don't talk nonsense. I, Zhou Tiantian, have been standing for thousands of years. How could you, a little guy, just destroy me at your will? Yes, there is Xiantian Holy Land, which is the #1 holy land in the Gilded Realm. I am not afraid of letting my tongue slip when I speak big words. On various mountain peaks, indignant scoldings continued to sound. But the next moment, the voices of these people stopped suddenly. I saw tokens suddenly appearing in Murong Feier's hands. Sister King Xiuo, this is your Qingyun order, take it. Sister Yoruo, this is your Xiantian order. For you. Sister Su Xian, this is your Loxia order, just in time for you to play with. Sister Shizuka, this is your Dongxiu order. As concubine Murong spoke, she assigned the tokens in her hands to the various saints. After seeing those tokens, the surrounding Qi realm monks all had their eyes red and their bodies shaking like chaff. These things and these people are simply not too familiar. How is it possible? Holy Land tokens will only be in the hands of the Holy Lords of major Holy Lands. What on earth did you do in the Gilded Realm? Everyone, there is definitely something weird about this kid, let's work together to capture him. Yes, it's not too late to catch him first and then slowly interrogate him. A group of old holy masters and old sect masters took action in anger. In an instant, various physiques and bloodlines were activated, and the light of various weapons and magic weapons soared into the sky. But buzz. A pale golden field barrier appeared and enveloped everyone in an instant. Then, everyone's attacks were frozen in place. Looking at this domain barrier, the people around them, their eyes almost popped out, because the top of this barrier is densely covered with Dao patterns. Dao Realm Enchantment. The Realm of Unity. You are actually in the Unity Realm. This is impossible. It's really a Dao Realm barrier. Oh my god, the spiritual energy of the Gilded Realm is so thin, how could a Unity Realm monk appear, and he's still so young? Who is this kid? Who can tell me what happened in the Gilded Realm? The emotions in the hearts of those old sect masters and saint masters at this time are definitely the most complicated in their lives. Especially those with low cultivation. Under the suppression of the Tao domain barrier, they vomited blood while their faces were full of shock and disbelief. But whether they believe it or not, Qin Changsheng has indeed reached the level of unity. Last night, when he and Yesuxin were lying on the soft couch and having an in-depth communication, he suddenly made a breakthrough and gave Yesuxin. She was shocked and said that the young master's strength suddenly increased a lot. When concubine Murong and others found out about this, they were also extremely surprised. She also said that her young master was a monster from where on earth. How could they break through inexplicably? But how could they know? Although Qin Changsheng was sleeping, they, the Saintess sect, were all practicing hard. It was only the 10 times their experience gained from their hard training that allowed Qin Changsheng to upgrade. So suddenly. Boy, you, who are you? If you act wantonly in the gilded domain, will the lord of the gilded domain just sit back and ignore it? The master of Xiantian sect couldn't help but speak at this time. The lord of the gilded domain. Oops, sorry, I forgot to tell you. Our young master also killed the lord of the gilded domain. He is now the new lord of the gilded domain. This is the gilded token of the gilded imperial city. I just forgot to take it out. Murong Fei said with a slap on her head, and then hurriedly took out another token. For a moment, the entire Xiantian sect was silent, and you could hear a pin drop. The old holy masters and old sect masters of the major holy land sects, one by one, they stared at the guild token in concubine Murong's hand, completely suspicious of life. This guy, even killed the lord of the guild domain? That was sent by Yuntian Holy Land. People. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 136. These people in the Qi realm of Xiantian sect are very aggrieved now. In the past few years since they came to the Eastern Barren continent, their lives have been very unsatisfactory and very painful. Although the Eastern Barren continent is vast and has many resources and opportunities, the small Qi realm here cannot make any big waves at all. They don't dare to grab it. Living an oppressive life in this chaotic mountain range, their cultivation has improved a bit, but their status has plummeted. In the past, each of them was the existence of the sect leader and the holy master, but here they can only huddle together and hug each other for warmth. What made them collapse the most was that they could come out of the gilded realm, but they couldn't go back because there was only one teleportation array to the gilded realm, which was in Yuntian Holy Land. These people are simply not qualified to use it. But, the grievances of so many years in the past add up. It can't compare to the frustration Qin Changsheng brought to them today. Are you and others so suppressed by such a young guy that they can't hold their heads up? And this guy also ransacked his old home. But, they never expected that what would make them collapse even more would come later. Although I looted your sect's holy land, and some of them have deep grievances. But I am still relatively easy to talk to. I'm not here to argue with you today. We are just planning to send this little girl to Suanei Shanmen. How do you think about the arrangements? Qin Changsheng said leisurely. Puff. 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 Dozens of people in the Qi realm were vomiting blood. It was not the one who was suppressed by the Dao realm, but the one who was so angry that he vomited blood. This guy, his words are too bullying. You ransacked our sect's holy land, and you said as if nothing had happened, you are easier to talk to, so you don't care? You are so generous. Do we want to prostrate ourselves to the ground again and burst into tears of gratitude? I can't bear it anymore. Everyone, let's work together to kill this beast. That's right, even if he is in the Unity realm, if we all try our best, we can still fight. Take action. Led by the two sect masters of the bloodthirsty demon sect, they shouted angrily and even wanted to launch an attack. There are also 5 or 6 people in other positions, ready to make a move. Thunder. Qin Changsheng just looked at them and said a word very casually. Obviously his voice was not loud, but to everyone's ears, the word really sounded like thunder. At the same time, suddenly the word Qin Changsheng echoed like the sound of heaven, and the various Dao rhyme patterns on the Dao realm barrier became brighter. Click. 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 Purple thunder appeared from the sky, and headed towards those people who were just about to take action, wreaking havoc. How is it possible? I have seen fights in the Unity realm, how can his Dao realm be so strong? The moment these purple thunders appeared, a look of deathly silence flashed across the faces of those people. Because they found that the gap between themselves and the sky was really too big, they had no power to resist at all. But they couldn't figure it out. How did this guy practice, and how could he be so strong? Bang bang, bang bang. The person who was just about to attack Qin Changshen was directly hit by the purple thunder, and turned into ashes with full of unwillingness and doubts. The entire Suanei Shanmen fell into a terrible silence again. The disciples around him were as silent as a cicada, even holding their breath, for fear of being affected. This guy looks harmless and always smiles. Killing people is just a thought. Don't be too cruel. Respect the Lord. We are willing to obey your orders. Yes, yes, this Xiantian sect from now on will belong to you, the Lord. I am willing to hand over the position of Xiantian sect leader. The remaining people, led by the head of Xiantian sect, knelt down one by one. After seeing Qin Changshen's methods just now, they could no longer resist at all. Don't, I'm not even remotely interested in being your sect leader. Just let this little girl join your section, let's see how to arrange it. Qin Changshen pulled Xiaomi Li and said to everyone. Everyone was speechless. Why do you feel that you dislike our position as the leader? Brother, Xiaomi Li, don't join them. They are all bad people. Xiaomi Li just picks a few spiritual fruits at the door. They want to beat me and often chase Xiaomi Li. Xiaomi Li shook her head like a rattle and said crisply. When Xiaomi Li said this, the expressions on the faces of many Suanei Shanmen disciples changed instantly. They seemed to have guessed something. This little girl who is so cute and beautiful, is actually that little beggar? Your Majesty, want her to join the Xiantian clan. The master of Xiantian sect looked confused after hearing Qin Changshen's words. Right, you said you wanted to arrange a suitable position for her. Qin Changshen said as he specially stretched out his arms to hold Murongfei and Gu Qingxiu. The meaning was obvious: saint, I want a saint. However, I am willing to give up the position of leader to this young master. The head of the Xiantian sect said with a bitter look on his face. The others even covered their faces for a while. This is nothing. But they can understand. I don't blame the head of the Xiantian sect, I only blame this guy for being too bullying. You have shown such great strength. You refused to be the head of Xiantian sect with a look of disgust on your face, and then you wanted to arrange for a little girl to come in. Isn't this obvious? But what makes them even more angry is still, later. Leader. How can he be the leader? You bunch of elm pimples-a-me brain, why is it so unclear? Qin Changshen said with a look of disgust. I have hinted so crazy, you actually want to make Xiaomi Li the leader? I can't rob the leader. And at this moment. Diddy, friendly reminder, the Holy Lord himself is present, and has already started to suppress it, hinting wildly, so even if Xiaomi Li becomes the saint of Suanei Shanmen, it will be judged invalid. Qin Changshen became even more angry when he saw the system prompt message. This time the game was ruined. No. Not to be the leader. Otherwise, we regard her as the supreme leader. Headmaster Xiantian spoke again and asked cautiously. In his heart now, he wants to die. It's too much to bully others, it's too much to bully others. I had to give up my position as the leader twice in succession, and once I was. You have a look of disgust on your face, and you even scolded me like a pimple once. This time, I will just let this little ancestor be the supreme leader. He doesn't have to do anything, but he has the highest status. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 137. The Supreme Leader. When the head of the Xiantian sect mentioned this title, Qin Changshen really wanted to slap him away. But the system prompt message had already come, and it would be useless to do anything else. Forget it, rotten wood cannot be carved, I am too lazy to argue with you. Since you all have stupid heads and are stubborn, then do the next thing and keep it traditional. Qin Changsheng waved his hands. The entire Xiantian clan was kneeling on the ground, and they were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. We all regard such a 6-year-old child as the supreme leader. But he was still after a lot of scolding. In addition, everyone was confused about what Qin Changsheng said below. What does the next item mean, and what does tradition mean? Always traditional, haha, I'll do it. And I. Hearing these words, the eyes of the two little witches, Murongfei and Du Lisa, suddenly became brilliant. Then, the two people ran to the front excitedly. Come on, let me tell you what the tradition is. Just 2 words, robbery. That's right, hand over all the spiritual stones, elixirs, heavenly materials, and earthly treasures, and combat skills and techniques that you have on you and within the sect to us. And, where is your Suane Shanman saint? Come and pay homage to our young master. The two little witches pinched their waists and shouted. They are already very skilled in this business. But, those Qi realm experts from Xiantian clan are not skilled at all. Robbery. In the Sea of Chaos, there are quite a few robbers and robbers of all kinds. But it is unheard of for someone to be so upright and storm into other people's sects to rob. What makes them collapse the most is, they suddenly thought of a question. These people should be in the gilded realm. This is how they ransacked their old home. Now, they are not even planning to let go of their new home. 2 fairies, we are willing to hand over all our belongings. But Saintess, our sect doesn't have one. Here, I have the highest level of cultivation, but I am not in the 7th heaven of Qi realm. I don't dare to call it a holy place, let alone establish any saints or saints. The head of Xiantian sect said with a bitter look on his face. After all, these 2 little girls are his descendants, even his descendants. But he wants to call them fairies, with a respectful look on his face, so that it feels so uncomfortable in my heart. But what can be done? That god of killing is a heaven-defying powerhouse in the unity realm. This is enough to crush them. Without the saint, you still haven't enlightened, no wonder the young master said that you are just lumps in the elm. That is. According to what our young master said, is there any need for the existence of a sect without a saint? Concubine Murong and Lisa Do said with hatred. Everyone in Xiantian clan was in chaos again. Why are they being scolded again? Why is it that without the saint, there is no need to exist? We want to establish a saint, but we don't dare. If the real Holy Land knows about it, it will destroy us in minutes. Wait a minute, I know what identity I want to give this little adult. A Qi realm monk from Suane Shanman, after combining the causes and consequences, and looking at concubine Murong and the others, this group of beautiful saints, finally understood what Qin Changsheng meant. This god of killing, should be interested in the position of saints. Do you have any special interests? It's late, why did you go so early? Qin Changsheng reprimanded angrily. Everyone had cold sweat on their faces. This is not okay. An hour later, the entire Xiantian sect's background was put together again. Although this place is small, there are indeed many natural resources and treasures in the eastern barren continent. There are more various spiritual stones, elixirs, heavenly materials, and earthly treasures than the several holy places in the gilded domain combined. This fact makes Qin Changsheng very satisfied. Take a look for yourselves to see if there is anything suitable for your own use. Take what you should take first, and move the rest to Linglong Immortal Mansion. Qin Changsheng said to many saints. It's, young master. Thank you, sir. A group of saintly girls were accustomed to the daily routine of dividing the spoils. They twisted their waists and began to pick and choose. This time, they were very satisfied with the spoils. Because there were many people who contributed these spoils, they are all ancestors of their previous holy land. The techniques they practice are from the same origin, and the treasures they collect are also very suitable. But those old sect masters and holy masters are very frustrated. These juniors, under normal circumstances, all reward themselves. They can take whatever you give them. Now they are robbed by these juniors. Good on. Brother, there are so many delicious foods. Millet grains, I'm hungry again. The little Lolita standing next to Qin Changsheng stared at the pile of trophies and swallowed her saliva. Qin Changsheng couldn't laugh or cry. This little Lolita is simply a super invincible snack food. Xiaomi Lier, be good, after the sisters finish picking, everything you can eat is yours. But you have already eaten too many spiritual stones today, so take it easy first. Qin Changsheng chuckled. Well, Xiaomi Lier is the best, and she will definitely obey her brother's words from now on, hee hee. Xiaomi Lier said, hugging Qin Changsheng and giving her another kiss. But Qin Changsheng always felt weird when he was kissed by her. This little foodie can eat anything. Don't be hungry again. Take a bite of yourself. Of course, he just thought about it casually. This little loli seems to be quite harmless, just edible. Good on. The little loli tried hard to control it, but she still couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Anything with spiritual energy was fragrant to her. Qin Changsheng was completely defeated by her. With a move of his hand, dozens of spiritual stones flew in front of the little Lolita. Let's eat some spiritual stones to cushion our mouths first. Qin Changsheng waved his hand and said. Thank you, brother. Bang. Xiaomi Lier's beautiful eyes turned into a crescent-shaped smile again. While thanking him, he couldn't wait to pick up a spiritual stone and bite it. This time, the whole Suanei Shanmen people doubted life again. Spirit stones can also be eaten? This little girl who looks harmless to humans and animals is also a monster. Where did this group of people come from? After emptying Suanei Shanmen's loot, Qin Changsheng walked out with a group of girls. The little loli was still holding the spirit stone, eating it loudly as he walked. Young master, where shall we go next? Murong concubine asked. Next one. Qin Changsheng waved his hand. Behind them, the people of Xiantian clan who had escaped death, but were clean and without even a storage ring, just breathed a sigh of relief. Hearing Qin Changsheng's words, I was absolutely stunned. Next one? This guy is a professional robber. The third update, please customize and order in full, please flowers and monthly tickets, please reward. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 138. There are hundreds of sects, large and small, in the entire Chaos Mountains. The one next to Suanei Shanmen is called the Blood Refining Demon Sect. Today is the day for the blood sacrifice of the Blood Refining Demon section. The so-called blood sacrifice is to kill hundreds of living monks at the Danyuan realm and above at the same time for training. When a monk dies, the true energy in his body will escape with his blood. The skills practiced by the Blood Refining Demon Sect can absorb this blood energy and turn it into your own demonic energy. Because of this, the Blood Refining Demon Sect would often plunder some monks and save them. After reaching a certain number, they would hold a blood sacrifice meeting. After killing them all, they would practice and improve themselves together. This method of blood sacrifice is extremely cruel, but the entire Chaos Mountains dare not speak out in anger. On the one hand, this Blood Refining Demon Sect is a sect native to the Eastern Wilderness continent and has deep roots. On the other hand, because they all practice the same technique, the people of the Blood Refining Demon Sect work together. And because of this kind of cultivation method, which can advance quickly, the disciples of the Blood Refining Demon Sect are all very strong overall, and the sect leader has already reached the 9th level of the Qi realm. Sects like the Xiantian sect, which were formed by being transported from the eastern region and gathered together, are no match for them at all. Even if the members of the sect are captured, they can only swallow their anger. Don't kill me, I really don't want to die. Seniors of the blood-refining demon sect, please let me go. I just teleported here from Makiu. I am also a demon cultivator, please let me join the blood-refining demon sect, please. At the mountain gate of the blood-refining demon sect, in a huge black pit, hundreds of monks who have been imprisoned are begging. This huge pit is the blood sacrifice pit of the blood-refining demon section. The color it was originally gray-white. I don't know how many years ago, the blood-refining demon sect held a blood ceremony here, and the accumulated blood dyed it into its current color. As soon as they were thrown in, these people were frightened by the pungent blood gas. Here we go, all kinds of begging for mercy. GG, it is your honor to be the sacrifice of our demon sect. Stop struggling. Beside the blood sacrifice pit, a disciple of the blood-refining demon sect with triangular eyes said with a strange smile. At the same time, the tens of thousands of blood-refining demon sect disciples around them had already taken out various weapons. Just waiting for the Great Elder's order, all these weapons will be activated, and the sacrifices will be ground into minced meat. They will be able to absorb and practice. The people at the bottom of the pit were all in despair at this time. But at this moment, ding ding, dong dong, a mysterious piano sound suddenly came from mid-air. Everyone looked up and saw a young man with sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes, and an imposing figure. Wearing a golden robe, he was sitting cross-legged in the air. There was a guqin in front of him, playing it casually. On both sides of him, two beautiful women were holding a little girl of 5 or 6 years old. Who dares to come and watch the blood sacrifice conference of my blood-refining demon sect? Do you also want to be our sacrifice? GG, that man can be used as a sacrifice, but the two women are so beautiful and graceful, so it would be a waste to use them as sacrifices. Haha. A group of disciples from the blood-refining demon sect burst into laughter. However, ding. The sound of a piano suddenly turned into the sound of swords. In an instant, everyone was stunned. I saw long swords condensed with spiritual energy, condensed from mid-air, like 10,000 swords coming towards each other, raging down. Chi 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 chi. All the spiritual energy swords landed with great precision among the disciples of the blood-refining demon sect. Plop, plop. Corpses fell one after another, and half of the tens of thousands of blood-refining demon sect disciples died in an instant. And if you look carefully, you will find that, these fallen corpses have just opened their mouths and smiled. Those aura swords happened to penetrate directly from their open mouths and took away their lives. Boy, you are looking for death. The leader of the blood-refining demon sect didn't even realize what was going on when he suddenly discovered that more than half of his disciples were dead or injured. He became furious in an instant. In an instant, all his cultivation from the 9th level of the Qi realm exploded. Buzz. A crimson domain barrier also opened up around him. Ding. Another piano sound sounded. Ouch. A phantom of the demon god, which was shouting up to the sky and 1,000 feet high, condensed in the mid-air, and then slapped down hard with its huge palm. Boom. The domain barrier that the leader of the blood-refining demon sect had just put up was shattered with a slap from the demonic figure. Puff. The huge backlash caused the leader of the blood-refining demon sect to spit out a mouthful of blood. Are you a strong person in the Unity realm? How can it be? The leader of the blood-refining demon sect said with a look of disbelief. There is no way, Qin Changshen looks really too young. Being able to reach the Qi realm is already very good. The state of unity is almost impossible. But who can smash the domain barrier condensed from the 9th level of the Qi realm into this with one palm? Who else but the Unity Realm can do it? The disciples of the blood-refining demon sect around them all panicked when they heard the sect leader's words. The realm of Unity? Such a young Unity state? Where did it come from? Stop talking nonsense. Do you see this little girl next to me? I'm going to let her join your section. What position will you arrange for her? Qin Changsheng said directly. Senior, my blood-refining demon sect is, but a demon cultivator. The leader of the blood-refining demon sect said with fear. He is confused now. The surrounding blood-refining demon sect disciples were also confused. This guy from the Unity Realm actually wants the little girl next to him to join the blood-refining demon sect? Haven't you seen how we practice? Such a little girl is not even qualified to be our sacrifice. And you yourself are a strong person in the Unity Realm. Wouldn't it be better to teach her yourself? Too much nonsense. Qin Changsheng frowned when he heard the words of the leader of the blood-refining demon sect, and waved the strings again. Bang! In mid-air, the demonic shadow thousands of feet high was slapped down again. The only remaining disciple of the blood-refining demon sect was slapped to death again. At this scene, the sacrifices in the pit were stunned. The people of the blood-refining demon sect were also dumbfounded. Our blood-refining demon section is known as the most ferocious existence in the entire Chaos Mountains. Why did someone suddenly appear, more cruel than us? We can only kill hundreds of sacrifices in one blood sacrifice, and at most there are only thousands of people. This guy just plucked a few strings at random and killed tens of thousands of people. You have one last chance. Qin Changsheng said lightly. Ah! The leader of the blood-refining demon sect instantly wet his back with cold sweat, and almost burst into tears. For so many years, I have been looking at the sacrifices, and I was scared to tears one by one. I never thought that I would have such a day. That, I asked her to be, the leader of the blood-refining demon sect. The leader of the blood-refining demon sect stammered, his heart stopped beating. In his opinion, the higher the status, the more satisfied that guy is. If you answer wrong, you can go to hell. Qin Changsheng's angry voice came. The next moment, the sound of the piano played again. The huge demon god in mid-air roared to the sky, and a life-killing sickle hundreds of feet long appeared in his hand. He. Wherever the sickle passed, all the disciples of the blood-refining demon sect were cut in half, including the elders and masters of the blood-refining demon sect. Even if they activated the power of blood and domain barriers, they desperately tried to resist. But under that life-killing sickle, everything was vulnerable. Just kidding, when Qin Changsheng was in the 9th level of the Qi realm, he was able to fight against the Lord of the Gilded Realm in the Unity Realm. Now that he is in the Unity Realm, if he wants to kill a few Qi realms, it is really just a matter of moving his fingers. In the blood sacrifice pit, the sacrifices were all frightened when they saw the blood-refining demon sect disciples who were split into two, many of whom were still half-body standing on the ground, bleeding sizzlingly. Many of them were even scared to death. This god of death actually wiped out the entire blood-refining demon sect with just a few plays of the piano, leaving no one behind in the tens of thousands of people. The fourth update, a 3,000-word chapter is here, asking for all kinds of data support. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 139. Senior, spare my life. Your Majesty, please spare my life. In the blood sacrifice pit, a group of people knelt down on the ground. The entire blood-refining demon sect was destroyed in an instant, and their internal organs were almost mixed together. That was the 9th level of the Qi realm. The blood-refining demon sect was wiped out by this god of killing in just a few strokes. Together, these people are not something that anyone can do with a finger. The most important thing is, they are still in a daze, not I know why the blood refining demon sect was destroyed. At first, he said that he wanted the little girl to join the blood refining demon sect. Then why did he do it directly? If you answer the wrong question, you can die. Qin Changsheng said this. The words were simply a cry for life. They were afraid that Qin Changsheng would also ask them questions. Don't worry, our young master has no interest in killing you. That's right, your current task is to collect the trophies from these corpses, and then go to the blood refining demon sect to sort out their treasure trove for us. The voices of Gu Qingxiu and Murong Fei rang out. The group of people naturally nodded their heads in agreement. Not long after, Qin Changsheng and the others floated away with a lot of loot, leaving behind the group of porters. They collapsed directly to the ground. What happened today made them exhausted and frightened. Now they can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Not long after, the one next door to the blood refining demon sect, the Tongxin sect. Qin Changsheng stood coldly in the air, and the entire Tongxin sect's disciples knelt on the ground below. Your Majesty, do you really want this young master to join our Tongxin sect? Then I am willing to give up my position as the leader of Tongxin sect. The leader of Tongxin sect stammered. Wrong answer, go to next item. Qin Changsheng said very speechlessly. Then concubine Murong jumped out and started robbing. Half an hour later. The East River Basin Alliance next door to Tongxin sect. If the answer is wrong, go to the next item. Robbery. Another half an hour later. Next sect. Qin Changsheng walked like this, one by one from each sect. In half a day, more than 30 sects in the Chaos Mountains were all looted by Qin Changsheng. The confiscated trophies are piled up into hills one after another in Linglong Immortal Mansion. But what left him speechless was the heads of these sects are so ignorant. Every time, he was either promised the position of elder, or the position of head, or the higher position of supreme elder or supreme leader. No one wants to make a millet grain a saint. This makes Qin Changsheng's plan to plunder the saint never succeed. Of course, this is also related to the long-term habits of the sects in the Eastern Barren Continent. Because in the Eastern Wilderness Continent, ordinary sects don't dare to call it a holy land, let alone have any saints or saints. So they habitually skip this position. Qin Changsheng really wanted to tell them, divergent thinking, do you understand? But the system limitations were there, and he couldn't remind him too obviously, and he couldn't even make insinuations, which made him extremely depressed. But what he didn't know was, at this time, the entire Chaos Mountain range was turned into a mess by his operation. Have you heard about it? The blood refining demon sect was destroyed. Really or not, that is a giant in the Chaos Mountains. Of course it's true, everyone is dead, not a single one is left. If you go there now and see, there are corpses all over the ground and rivers of blood. Who did it, so powerful? I heard it was a young-looking man with two beautiful fairies and a little girl. Ah! Those two fairies, are one wearing white and the other wearing red dress. The little girl looks like 5 or 6 years old, but she is still eating the spirit stone when she is fine. How do you know? Of course I know, the Tongxin sect next door to us was also patronized by them, but the people in the Tongxin sect did not resist. Then the man raised a question, asking the little girl to join the sect, and said what position would be arranged. Answer: if you are wrong, you will be robbed. Hey, it's a big event, the spiritual heart gate has been looted. Is the answer wrong? Move to the next item. How do you know this sentence? In the entire chaotic mountains, a god-killing incident in the Unity realm suddenly appeared and spread like wildfire. Qin Changsheng's sentence, answer is wrong, move on to the next item, and it has become a saying among everyone, god-killing. The sects in the chaotic mountains are all panic-stricken, fearing that these words will fall on them. In the afternoon, Qin Changsheng repaired some things in Linglong Immortal Mansion, and then took the two girls and the little lowly to a sect called Yunshenmen. This time, he was going to change his tactics. Let Gu Qingxiu and Xiaomi Lier go through the process seriously. However, one man, two women, and a little girl. Oh my God, they're coming. Quick, quick, inform the sect leader. No need to notify me, I'm right here. There was a sudden commotion at the entrance of Yunzhong Gate. Then Qin Changsheng saw a group of people from Yunzhong Gate, led by an old man, holding various heavenly materials and earthly treasures, spiritual stones and elixirs in their hands, from the mountain gate. Come out. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. Don't bother asking questions. We are willing to hand over all the resources of Yunzhong section. If you don't believe it, you can go to our Yunzhong treasure house to check. The old man at the head said directly. Qin Changsheng and the two girls were a little dumbfounded. Is this okay? No. How can you still do this? How boring it is for us to rob. Concubine Murong looked at the treasures that everyone handed over and said very unhappily. Everyone was speechless. Boring. You go around robbing just for fun? But Qin Changsheng just waved his hand. No. It's no use sending things, the questions still have to be answered. As he said that, Qin Changsheng told the story about Xiaomi Lier again. The head of Yunzhong sect's eyes turned black and he was about to cry. Why do we still need to answer the question? If we knew what to do, how to answer, are you still so hurried and giving away all your background? Otherwise, Your Majesty, what position would you like this young man to occupy? What kind of position should we get? The sect leader of Yunzhong sect said weakly. Oops, the answer is wrong, go to the next item, forget it, the next item has been completed, let's go to the next one. Qin Changsheng was completely speechless and had the urge to die. If I could speak, would I still have to put in so much effort? Why is it so difficult to cheat? Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 140. 2 days later. Qin Changsheng left the Chaos Mountains on the bloody Red Luan. But his name and that famous saying will forever become the shadow of the Chaos Mountains and the major sects. Wrong answer, next item. I don't know how many years later, the sects in the entire Chaos Mountains are most afraid of others asking them questions, and they are even more afraid of hearing this sentence. Yes, hundreds of sects in the Chaos Mountains have been robbed by Qin Changsheng. At this point, he doesn't have any psychological pressure. Because the entire chaotic mountains is in chaos, and no sect is clean. Qin Changsheng's trophies are not the trophies of those sects. The only thing that makes Qin Changsheng speechless is these sects are really used to being humbled by powerful people like Lin Donghuan continent. In the end, he failed to cheat. Therefore, Qin Changsheng prepared to change his target. The Hunshan demon sect is the closest to the Sea of Chaos, and it is a sect with strong men in the Unity realm. It is also the most recent sect with a saint. Qin Changsheng followed the map route he found from the loot and flew for a day and a night before arriving here. Looking from a distance, Qin Changsheng couldn't help but sigh. In the Eastern Barren continent, the difference between whether there is a strong person in the Unity realm or not is really huge. There are more than 100 sects in the Chaos Mountains, crowded together in a mountain range with average aura. In the Hunshan demon sect, just because there are strong men in the Union realm, they occupy two parallel mountain ranges. The spiritual energy of these two mountain ranges is constantly transpiring, like two majestic giant dragons, entrenched there. At the intersection of the two mountains, using the two peaks as a bridge, a mountain gate towering into the clouds was built, with 4 large characters dozens of feet in length written on it, Hunshan demon sect. That guy in front, your bird is pretty good. Just when Qin Changsheng arrived not far from the Hunshan demon section, a voice like a silver bell suddenly came from behind Qin Changsheng. He turned around and saw a little girl who looked to be only 17 or 18 years old, with skin as clear as jade and delicate facial features. She was wearing a pink skirt and a pair of ponytails. She looked very cute and cute. It was what this little girl said that made Qin Changsheng's legs tighten. Nice bird? Suddenly, Qin Changsheng realized that the bird in the little girl's mouth should be the bloody red Luan at his feet. Yeah? What's so good about my bird? Qin Changsheng chuckled. At the same time, he scanned the attribute information of this little girl. Name, Lu Ruyan. Physique, innate spirit resurrection hegemon body. Realm, Qi realm, perfection. Combat skill, 9th grade combat. The skill Piao Miao 9 heavens body technique, perfection, the first level Xian level combat skill returning to heaven and immortality, perfection, the first level Xian level combat skill resurrection on the immortal road, peak. I don't know why. I saw when this little girl met these attributes, Qin Changsheng felt a little strange, but he couldn't explain why. What he didn't know was, in the Linglong Immortal Mansion, while practicing, concubine Murong also took a look at the outside world. This bad boy met the little girl again. Humph, and she's so beautiful, but I don't know if this girl is a saint. This was Murong concubine's first thought. Why do I look at this little girl? She looks familiar. It seems like I've seen it before somewhere, but it doesn't look like I've seen it before, otherwise it's impossible not to have an impression. This was concubine Murong's second thought. She originally wanted to talk to Qin Changsheng. But after thinking about it, she gave up because she was afraid that Qin Changsheng would say she was playful again. And when she thought about her own cultivation, was almost at the bottom among these saints, which made concubine Murong abandon all distracting thoughts and practice hard. Where is good? Ugh, your bird is huge. And the flying speed is very fast. When you are on the road, you only need to stand still. It is much more comfortable than me flying in the air. The little girl named Lu Ruyan said. When Qin Changsheng heard the previous sentence, he almost couldn't help but laugh. I really wanted to tease her. How do you know it's big? This is also a matter of 2 generations. The fun lies in it. Many lexical metaphors in the previous world do not exist in this world at all, so there are often such similar oolongs. But the next moment, Qin Changsheng was stunned. After the little girl finished speaking, suddenly a cunning look flashed across his face. So, I'm sorry to tell you. This girl has taken a fancy to you, robbery. The little girl Lu Ruyan said with a smile. Hearing Lu Ruyan's words, Qin Changsheng was even more dumbfounded. In this eastern wilderness continent, is the robbery industry so prosperous? He, a professional robbery expert, met his peers again. Little sister, robbing is wrong, this is a very bad behavior. Qin Changsheng's face was not red, and his heart was not beating, and he teased the little girl. If hundreds of sects in the Chaos Mountains heard these words, they would probably vomit blood together, and there would be a grand occasion of bloody fireworks. You robbed, we have more than 100 sections. How can we say such a thing? Yeah? I do not know. I just know one thing, I've got my eye on you, I'm going to get it. If you don't give it to me, then don't blame me, I'll snatch you all away and become my little follower. Such a young and handsome little follower seems to be really good. The little girl looked innocent, but her words were very domineering. He had exactly the same look as concubine Murong and the others when they were robbing. Qin Changsheng was speechless. Are all the robbers these days such a huge contrast? Then do you know what my level of cultivation is? Aren't you afraid that I will rob you in turn? Qin Changsheng said with a smile. Tisk, looking at your age, if you can reach the 5th level of the Qi realm, are you a very good proud man of heaven? How much higher can you go? Besides, no matter how high your cultivation level is, can you still be higher than the leader of our Hunshan demon sect, the third heaven of the Unity realm? The little girl said nonchalantly, and indicated with her eyes that the Hunshan demon sect behind Qin Changsheng. Really? Qin Changsheng smiled secretly in his heart. The reason why he was entangled with this little girl was that he suspected that she should be a member of the Hunshan demon section. Unexpectedly, she really was. Ah, you are actually from the Hunshan demon sect. You are not a saint from the Hunshan demon sect, are you? Qin Changsheng said, pretending to be suddenly enlightened. As long as this little girl dares to say that someone is, Qin Changsheng will not hesitate and prepare to rob her. Then I will let you see what real robbery is. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 141. Humph, although I am not a saint of the Hunshan demon sect yet. But it will be over in 2 days. When the little girl named Lu Ruyan heard Qin Changsheng mention the subject of the saint, her red lips involuntarily pursed, as if she was unhappy. Qin Changsheng was stunned when he heard this. No. Just in 2 days? This problem is a bit complicated. Xiaomi Li's cheating incident has left Qin Changsheng with a psychological shadow to this day. What he fears most is this kind of complicated situation. But then he thought again. Qin Changsheng suddenly thought of another possibility that was more beneficial to him. This saint of the Hunshan demon section. Couldn't she be in a period of renewal? The current saint is about to abdicate, and then this Lu Ruyan will take over? If that's the case, I'll grab the current saint first, and then I'll grab it after Lu Ruyan takes over. Wouldn't it be possible to directly get 2 experience packs? You're not even a saint, why do you want a little follower? Qin Changsheng wanted to capture him, so he said. You kid, how dare you look down on me? Today, you are your follower, but I still want to make a decision. Lu Ruyan said, inciting the true energy to take action. Late stage of Qi realm. Oh my god, how come you have such a high level of cultivation? Don't do anything. I am in the early stage of Qi realm and I can't beat you. Qin Changsheng hurriedly gave in, and deliberately looked like he was being suppressed. In the 9th level of the Qi realm, the first 3 levels are the initial stage, the 4th, 5th, and 6th levels are the middle stage, and the last 3 levels are the late stage. Qin Changsheng did, although he looked frightened, he even set his cultivation level at the first 3 levels. Humph, I knew you were only in the 2nd or 3rd heaven. Now that you know you are afraid, just follow me. From now on, you will be my little follower, responsible for helping me raise this big bird and take care of this girl when she travels. By the way, my name is Lu Ruyan. She is not in the late stage of Qi realm, but in the perfect Qi realm. May I have your name? Seeing Qin Changsheng's fearful look, Lu Ruyan was very helpful and said proudly. Qin Changsheng was speechless for a while after hearing this. Forget about being a little follower, he also specially raises spiritual birds to take care of you when you travel? Are you like this? He snatched me over and used me as a driver. You are not afraid of me. He is an experienced driver. He is skilled in driving, very fast and can change various postures. Not only will he take care of you, but he will also take care of you. Anything else? He thought jokingly in his heart, but Qin Changsheng didn't show it on the surface, and still looked frightened. My name is Qin Changsheng. As long as you don't kill me, I'm willing to do anything, no matter what. Qin Changsheng said, stammering, and when he talked about doing it, he especially emphasized his tone. Unfortunately, this little girl Lu Ruyan couldn't understand the implication of Qin Changsheng's words, and nodded with satisfaction. Qin Changsheng? The name is quite pleasant, come on, follow me back to the sect. While speaking, Lu Ruyan flew up to the bloody red Luan, and a faint fragrance hit her nostrils. "Miss, you smell so good," Qin Changsheng said with a look of obsession. Of course, this was done on purpose. There are so many saints in Linglong Immortal Mansion, Qin Changsheng cannot be so nymphomaniac. Although, the fragrance of Lu Ruyan is indeed unique, and Qin Changsheng will not be like this. He knows very well that if he is too calm, it will be even worse. Stop talking nonsense and be your little follower with peace of mind. Lu Ruyan heard this and scolded Qin Changsheng, but there was obviously a little pride between her eyebrows. Huh, if it weren't for the special circumstances and you were very pleasing to the eye, would you be qualified to be this girl's little follower, so close to me? In the past, I would have killed you to take advantage of you. Lu Ruyan said a few more words. However, Qin Changsheng was confused when he heard these words. Why did it seem like something happened again? After hearing the second part of the sentence, Qin Changsheng was shaking his legs again. Tight, I couldn't help but laugh, and wanted to laugh. This girl's words are too easy to expose the stain and the funny point. Okay, miss. Suppressing a smile and agreeing, Qin Changsheng controlled the bloody red Luan and flew towards the mountain gate of the Hunshan demon section. Lu Ruyan stood on the back of the bloody red Luan, looked at Qin Changsheng, and then looked in the direction of the Hunshan demon sect and fell into deep thought. For so many years, I have never been approached by a man, and no one has ever smelled the fragrance on my body and praised me. If it weren't for this incident, this kid has absolutely no chance. I just hope that this guy, who looks pretty good, can be effective. Not long after, bloody Hongluan led the two of them to the mountain gate of the Hunshan demon sect. The mountain gate looks very grand from a distance, and it is even more spectacular up close. Like the legendary gate to heaven, it reaches into the sky and stands in the clouds. Lu Ruyan made a soul mark, and the colorful shield on the mountain gate cracked, and the bloody red Luan flew in. Once you come in, the picture becomes even more shocking. I saw that within the entire Hunshan demon sect, within a radius of 100 miles, there were mountains with ethereal aura, like fairy mountains. On top of each mountain peak stands a very large and magnificent palace. Around those palaces, layers of spiritual formations were densely carved. The seven-colored light shone, gathering the surrounding aura of heaven and earth into those palaces. Qin Changsheng felt it. The aura inside was comparable to that of Linglong Immortal Mansion. That's my magic palace. Lu Ruyan marked a central mountain palace and said to Qin Changsheng. Qin Changsheng nodded and controlled the bloody red Luan to fly over. Soon, a palace named Ruyan Pavilion appeared in front of Qin Changsheng. The huge palace gate was more than 10 feet high. There is also a small square in front, planted with various exotic flowers, herbs, fruits, and plants. The bloody red Luan landed on the square in front of Ruyan Pavilion. Qin Changsheng and the two floated down. You can just find a room to live on the first and second floors of this palace. The 7 floors above are my exclusive territory. You are not allowed to go up there without my permission. Lu Ruyan opened her mouth and commanded. Good. Qin Changsheng nodded and agreed. Lu Ruyan glanced at Qin Changsheng and wanted to say something, but in the end he didn't. Then he turned around and flew into Ruyan Pavilion. Qin Changsheng looked around and felt something strange in his heart. Why did he feel like there was something wrong here? However, if you come to peace with it, Qin Changsheng is not afraid. Just waiting to find out what is going on with the saint of the Hunshan demon sect, I can start to rob her. When the time comes. I don't know what this young lady's expression will be like when she suddenly realizes that she is the prey. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 142. Hunshan Demon Sect, in the small square in front of Ruyan Pavilion. Qin Changsheng was looking around at the palaces on the towering mountains, thinking about how to find out what was going on with the saint of the Hunshan Demon Sect. Hey, we have a new person coming to Ruyan Peak. Or a young man. Did senior sister Ruyan bring it back? This is the first time a man has appeared in Ruyan Peak in so many years. I have to say, this young master is quite handsome. Hey, young master, what's your name? Suddenly, the voices of several warblers and swallows came. Qin Changsheng turned his head and found that there were thousands of graceful figures flying up from the mountain below. Seeing these figures, Qin Changsheng was a little confused for a moment. Big head. Qin Changsheng had already experienced this when a dozen saints gathered together in the Linglong Immortal Mansion. Wouldn't it turn the world upside down if these thousands of women gathered together? Hello everyone, my name is Qin Changsheng. Bite the bullet, Qin Changsheng introduced himself. He was going to inquire about the situation from these girls. No matter how big his head was, he had to hold on. Qin Changsheng is good looking and has a nice name. Were you brought back by senior sister Ruyan, a young apprentice or a young follower? What kind of cultivation level? Is there a Danyuan realm? You have to be in the Danyuan realm after all. Otherwise, with senior sister Ruyan's vision, she wouldn't even take a glance at it. Young master, sister, I live in the Lingxian cave below. When you are free, you can come down and play with your sister. It's so much fun in my sister's cave. Mo Ruxin, you little prodigal, are you crazy about wanting a man? Do you dare to make decisions about the people brought back by senior sister Ruyan? Oops, they are just teasing this little brother. No more talk, just practice now. Yes, practice. As expected by Qin Changsheng, these more than 1,000 girls were talking to each other without being too lively. Fortunately, they didn't get too entangled. After teasing Qin Changsheng for a few words, they just said they sat cross-legged in rows and began to practice. Qin Changsheng suddenly realized what was going on. It should be the Ruyan Pavilion above, which has many formations for gathering spiritual energy, so that in this square, the spiritual energy is also very rich. These ordinary disciples who live under the mountain usually come here to practice. Little guy, don't you practice? Sitting very close to Qin Changsheng, a beautiful woman in a blue dress couldn't help but ask when she saw Qin Changsheng standing there stupidly. Practice? I don't like to practice. Qin Changsheng said frankly. He has not practiced since the system was established. Because no matter how good the technique is, it can't come as fast as eating experience packs, and it seems that he has no practice, but the true energy in his body is increasing all the time. The tenfold feedback from those saints is much faster than practicing by yourself. Not interested in practicing? Now I really doubt whether you have reached the Danyuan realm. How can you not be interested in cultivation? The woman in the blue skirt said with some hatred for iron. When the other women heard this, many of them shook their heads. In fact, I just came here and know nothing about it, I have no intention of practicing. Qin Changsheng said with a helpless look. You don't know anything about the Hunshan Demon Sect? Are you not from around here? The woman in the blue skirt said with confusion on her face. Qin Changsheng nodded, but he was secretly happy. The opportunity to make a rhyme came. In this way, Qin Changsheng and the woman in the blue skirt talked softly, and finally figured out who she was. What's going on? It's just as he expected. There is now a saint in the Hunshan Demon Sect. But that saint has the idea of abdicating and letting Lu Ruyan be the new generation's leader. Saint. But what Qin Changsheng didn't expect was that, the problem here was indeed a bit complicated. That saint wanted to abdicate. Lu Ruyan didn't want to be a saint either, because there was something hidden in it. When talking about this matter, We have to mention another sect, the Jade Blood Demon sect. Both are demonic sects. The Hunshan Demon sect and the Jade Blood Demon sect have been friends for generations and have a good relationship. Because of this, the two families often have conflicts. The marriage of the Holy Son and the Holy Daughter appears, this time too. The Blue Blood Holy Son of the Blue Blood Demon sect's generation practices very cruel techniques. He can strengthen himself by devouring the pure yin energy in the female cultivator's body. Rumor has it that over the years, there are probably thousands of female cultivators who have died under the Holy Son of Blue Blood. If they were to marry him, Saint Maiden Hun Tian's full body cultivation, let alone continue to advance, she would definitely regress like crazy. Even, maybe like those female cultivators, the pure yin energy will be sucked dry, and the fragrance will disappear. Because of this, Hunshan Saint wants to abdicate. But Lu Ruyan is not stupid either. She didn't want to do it, the cauldron of the Holy Son of Blue Blood. Knowing this, Qin Changsheng finally wanted to understand why Lu Ruyan looked so weird when he mentioned the holy girl halfway. Yes, she not a saint. But she doesn't want to be a saint either. Okay, I won't tell you anymore, I'm going to practice hard. You should also practice quickly. Although I don't know what senior sister Ruyan means by bringing you back, but you should practice hard, that's for sure. The woman in blue dress persuaded. Forget it, I still don't like practicing, so why don't I play the piano for you to add to the fun? Qin Changsheng evaded. And those who know Qin Changsheng should know when they hear Qin Changsheng say this. He is ready to consider some things. After staying in Qinfen for a long time, Qin Changsheng has developed a habit of thinking about some things. When working, I like to play the piano to calm my mind. Still don't like practicing? Oops, I don't care about you anymore. The woman in the blue skirt was completely disappointed with Qin Changsheng. She closed her eyes and started practicing without caring about him. Qin Changsheng reached out and took out the guqin and began to play the strings randomly while thinking about his plan. If he hadn't come, Qin Changsheng really has no control over who will be the saint of Hunshan. But now that he is here, Qin Changsheng must let Lu Ruyan take the position of the saint. That's right, he plans to take the current position first. The saintess was robbed. Then Lu Ruyan, for no reason, wanted to become the new saintess. When the time comes, I robbed Lu Ruyan again. 2 experience packs, simply unnecessary, it's so comfortable. In addition, Lu Ruyan has already reached the perfection of the Qi realm. The current holy maiden of the Hunshan demon sect will only be stronger, not lower. Not only are there 2 experience packs, but they are also 2 big experience packs. Until now, Qin Changsheng has not eaten the Qi realm saintess experience pack. I don't know what level he will be promoted to after eating these 2 super saintess experience packs. The more he thinks about it, Qin, the more I look forward to immortality. The third update, please customize and complete the order. Please provide all data support. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 143. Ding ding, dong dong. Qin Changsheng sat cross-legged and played the piano casually. The plan in his heart was gradually taking shape. The thousands of female cultivators around him couldn't help but look at Qin Changsheng twice as they finished their rotation every day. I have to say that Qin Changsheng, who is playing the piano at this time, is really charming. The calm and elegant posture and the ethereal and lively sound of the piano made him sit there, as if he were in a dreamlike and beautiful world without any competition from the world. Of course, appreciation is appreciation, but these female cultivators increasingly look down on Qin Changsheng. In this world where the jungle prevails, no matter how good you are at playing the piano, it's of no use. If you don't work hard to practice, you will eventually perish. They really doubt, whether Qin Changsheng has reached the Danyuan realm. However, none of them asked this question again, because there was no need or interest. But what everyone doesn't know is, in front of the 9th floor window of Ruyan Pavilion at this time, Lu Ruyan was also standing there, looking at Qin Changsheng playing the piano below, in a daze. Alone, she lost her usual playful and cute liveliness, and her beautiful eyes looked lonely. This guy I met, was really a bit different. He was captured here by himself, but he still has the heart to play the piano and not to mention working hard to practice. I am afraid he is a playboy who grew up in some family. Step by step from the gilded realm to now, this type of people is the one I despise the most, but it may become my last choice. Sad, deplorable, or ridiculous. Anyway, maybe this is fate. Muttering a few words in a low voice, Lu Ruyan turned around, sat down cross-legged and began to practice. Tomorrow is the day when the Holy Son of Blue Blood will come to the Hunshan demon sect. She still has one day. If she is here in one day, she can reach the state of unity, maybe there will be a chance to give up the title of saint. And if not, she will never allow herself to really become someone else's cauldron. It is said that, the Holy Son of Jade Blood only likes a perfect body. If he is not a perfect body, he probably won't want it. But when the time comes, will the leader of the Hunshan demon sect let him go? Below, Qin Changsheng finished his song and put away his guqin. He was ready to wander around. At least we must first find out where the current holy maiden of Hunshan is. Otherwise, where can I grab it myself? Moreover, when it comes to snatching this holy girl, Qin Changsheng can't make a big show of it. It must be done without being aware of it. Otherwise, sending Lu Ruyi to the position of saint may not be so smooth. I have to say that this Hunshan demon sect is really big. There are thousands of palaces on the mountain peaks. In each palace, there is at least one strong person in the Qi realm. In addition to the head of the Hunshan demon sect, the great elder of the Hunshan demon sect is also a strong man in the Union realm. Although he is only the first level of the Union realm, he is still very good. In the Qi realm, every level of the sky is a chasm, which is extremely difficult to cross. In the Unity realm, if each level of the sky is also calculated according to the natural mode, I am afraid that there are dozens or even hundreds of natural mode in the distance. Practice one way, and the big waves wash away the sand. The further you go, the more obvious the importance of qualifications becomes. If you have good qualifications, you may rise to prominence at a young age and reach the pinnacle of martial arts step by step. If you have mediocre qualifications, you may just have to fight for longevity to win the first chance of advancement. And most people, still fail to win and are lost in the long river of history. Palace of Saints. Walking, Qin Changsheng finally found his target. And no coincidence, a woman with a beautiful face and an proud temperament just walked out of the saintess palace. Qin Changsheng saw this girl's face at first glance. The thought that flashed through my mind was that this is a proud princess. This girl, from the inside out, exudes an extremely proud and aloof attitude. But it has to be said, this girl does have a proud personality. Capital. With a height of more than 1.8 meters, she is still very tall even in this world with abundant aura. Those super invincible, long legs are looming in the hollow gauze skirt, which is not very attractive. Her eyes and her appearance is also born with a sense of nobility. According to the previous world, she is born with a high-end face. Although there are many interpretations of beauty. But this high-end beauty and proud beauty are still quite rare. Name, Amo Ran. Physique, innately flawless body. Bloodline, 9-star Golden Ling bloodline. Realm, Qi realm, perfection. Combat skill, 2nd grade Xian level combat skill. Ink color creates fragrance, peak, 2 the 1st grade Xian level combat skill. Golden Ling spreading wings, peak, the 2nd grade Xian level combat skill. The perfect way, peak. After taking a look at the attributes scanned by the system, Qin Changshen had already confirmed that this woman, she should be the saint of the Hunshan demon sect. It is no wonder that the saint is qualified to propose to relinquish her status as a saint. She is really good in terms of qualifications. Although in the eastern wilderness continent, there are no orthodox monks to judge the physique. The demonic monk's limited view of bloodline. However, the qualifications of both are still valued. This point gives him a lot more authority to speak than Lu Ruyan. After all, the two have similar cultivation levels, and Lu Ruyan, however, only has one innate resurrection spirit dominant body. According to Qin Changshen, even if he does not rob the Hunshan saint, Lu Ruyan will definitely be the scapegoat. Of course, he still has to rob her. What a shameful waste of such a good experience pack. But not now. If we take action directly at this time, I am afraid that the entire Hunshan demon sect will be alarmed. Even if Qin Changshen succeeds in snatching it, it will definitely be a world-shattering battle. The curtain was raised and they were in a mess. How could they still think about establishing a new saint? Qin Changshen didn't want to miss Lu Ruyan's big experience package, so he had to endure it. Boy, where are you looking? How dare you blaspheme the saint? Watch me dig out your eyeballs. Suddenly, a loud shout rang out, interrupting Qin Changshen's thoughts. At this time, Qin Changshen suddenly realized that he had just been staring at the long legs of Holy Maiden Hunshan, and he had forgotten to look away. Followed by Holy Maiden Hunshan. When a female cultivator behind him saw this, he was furious and wanted to attack Qin Chang. Forget it, just a little guy. Hunshan Saintess stretched out her slender jade hands and stopped the followers around her. It's not that she was so kind-hearted. It's just that she was upset now and just wanted to settle the matter of resigning as Saintess as soon as possible. As for Qin Changshen, from beginning to end, she just glanced at it and didn't take it seriously at all. But what she never expected was, it was the first time she met someone who she didn't take seriously, and it completely changed her life. The fourth update, please customize it, please order it in full, and ask for all your support and motivation. Thank you all.